Hey friends, welcome back to the video. I just want to talk about this hand specifically. You might be able to get something out of it. I'm going to try and be a little bit instructive with this hand. So always look at the chip stacks, like the stack sizes straight away. Look who's going to play after you, which no one is going to play here. Okay, so who's throwing in the action? Look at the chip sizes there, that's fine. So he's throwing, the blinds are 50 to 100. He's throwing in 200. So he's min bet pretty much here. So that tells you one thing. He's in the small blind, which is totally the worst position on the table. So you see a 200 bet usually when it comes to like a minimum bet or just slightly above. When you see more experienced players in the like the dealer and the cutoff because they're trying to steal the blinds. So in this case, he's in the small blinds. Could mean he doesn't know what he's doing and he's throwing a bet in to try and steal the blinds. That could be a common mistake here. He'll be throwing in 200 here because he's trying to entice us trying to entice us into betting, or because sometimes I get quite aggressive, and these guys might have seen my icon and know that I do a lot of betting. So if he's min betting, he could be goading into raising. Another thing too is, does he want me just to call cheaply? Is he scared for me to actually raise in position here? Because I've got position, I can use this against the small blind, big blind. Small blind could be quite wide here because there's only two people left. He's only got one person to bet on the table. So what do? I've got ace 10 here. So it's a very nice hand, okay? So I ended up raising because I got position here. So I've got ace 10 suited. I've got a lot of hands here I could play. If he shoves here, I've got an ace blocker. Sometimes that means that he might have just pocket pair. Could shove in as well. It could be quite wide. But it really depends on the players that you're playing against. With Zoom, it's a lot harder to get reads of players unless you make what you can do is create notes on players specifically, and then you can use those notes to work out if these guys actually just bluff, or do they raise, or do they actually have anything else. So we could easily beat this guy in the small blind because he could be quite wide. Okay, so min raises again. So he doesn't want us to fold, he's trying to boost money, so he could have a strong hand here. Ace 10, we've got a playable hand. So it's the first tell. He could possibly have a really good hand here. He could be just trying to get free chips here, but sort of a min bet here again tells me that he wants to bet, try and get us maybe to raise, maybe to get call, not call, but try to raise again. He wants us to play. That's what it feels like anyway, but we got position. So after raising, he didn't fold. So we're just gonna flat call this. We've got a lot of flops that could help our way. Anyway, so we just flat call. Okay, we top pair. Okay, so this is another scenario. So he checks. So the thing is, he was the initial raiser. So this type of pot, right? If you pause the video and think about what type of hand, this could help. Is this good for us or is it bad for us? So just pause the video and then just think about what type of flop is this? Is it dry? Is it a good board? Okay, so hopefully I'm going to keep continuing. So this flop is a way ahead, way behind scenario. So our hand could be really good. It could be really bad. So if he's got pocket kings, pocket queens, pocket jacks, we're loving life. If he's got ace queen, got aces, got ace queen, ace king, ace jack, we're well behind here, and he's going to call any bet that we do. So a lot of these cases are way ahead. If we bet, he's going to fold. So we're going to make a marginal hand. If we've got a marginal hand, what else do we bet? Ace 9, ace 8. So think about the hands that he will call with. So there's not that many hands that he will call with because of the ace. But so we check behind. And a lot of cases, this is like a trap. So we can trap people into thinking their kings are good. A lot of weaker aces as well. Probably not the ace 4 or the ace 6 because that's two pairs, but you can definitely get a hand. So the problem with slow playing too is now you've got hearts on the board, right? So now even the best of hands now, there's a flush on the board. So the best hand, if you've got two hearts on the board, you could definitely get outdone here. So if we were ahead on the flop with another heart on the board, now we possibly might not be. So he checks again. That tells me one thing. Makes me question things like, I feel like he's chasing here at one stage. So we've got position. I think if he's got a king, now we've got equity. So we've got some value in the hand. So I reckon we have to do a bet here. If we don't do a bet here, our opponent can actually catch up with a heart. So we throw a bet in, and this is fine. Okay, so he does a greedy bet. This is what I call a greedy bet. So a greedy bet, sometimes they've got a really made hand, but at the same time, why didn't he bet the flop? So there's 2 hearts on the board. Has he made a flush? I'm not quite sure. So he could have like the Queen of Hearts or something here. He could have straight draws trying to play at me. So what we do, we'll call behind. We've got position, right? Okay, nine of clubs comes out. Really, it's pretty much a card that looks like it doesn't help anything. So if we were ahead on the flop, I still believe we're still ahead now, unless he's got flush. But you'd think he'd actually bet the flush, or at least, do a playable hand. Anyway, this is a case where you're well ahead, way behind. So thinking that if we bet here, what do we do? Like, are we value betting the king? What is he going to do? So I think something's wrong with his hand, because he raised me and then all of a sudden started slow playing. And then he raised me on the turn, did the greedy bet. So something's a bit off in this hand. So do I think he's bluffing? I don't think so. But if he is, so be it. He's not going to... So if we throw a bet in and he's just purely bluffing on the turn, he's going to fold. If he's got us beat, he's going to beat us, call, or even worse, raise us. So what you can do is just check behind. And this is the whole reason of using position, to try and save money. And have a look what he's got. He's got pocket aces, trying to trap us. This is why you don't slow play with aces. And there's another example too. Hearts are on the board. If we had a heart, he gave us a free card on the river, pretty much. Or he didn't give us a free card on the river, but he gave us a free card on the turn. So we could have actually caught up quite easily here. Although he probably hoped that we get the 10. But anyway, we saved money being in position. If you're out of position here, you're in no man's land, and he dictates whether or not to do the bet. So we actually save a lot of money being in position. So position is the most ideal thing here. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you got something out of this, and see you at the tables.